time we've seen him on this map was 94 days ago, which was July the 9th, very early on in the Stage 3 Challengers qualifiers. And another number that's a little bit smaller than that, 92, that was Yassine's ACS at the end of that loss against Ascent. So he has to have a big performance. He's the only person that hasn't changed up what agent he's playing. And immediately SMB going to be playing on the attack. They already played recently against Paper X in Masters 3, so they have a bit more tenure on it, but Guild, there's probably a lot they've been working on. Most likely. I mean, last time it was a little bit disastrous. We've only getting one round on attack, but for now, Safe is backing off slightly. Leo is checking if something's coming elbow. That is not the case. And the guys from SMB, they're hiding over there. It could be one big explosion, but Russ is down. This is a enfeebled attack from SMB. Found them. It's just a little bit of a peek. Draken could sort of play off of it a little bit, but Izzy's taking such an aggressive angle, he has to back out. Yassine and the rest of Guild have a really good idea where Supermassive players are playing from. They'll have to reset. There's no control that they can get onto this site. And knowing that the Viper utility is consistently set up on B for a lot of teams that play Breeze, they're going to try over on A. A lot of riding on Draken to hit those shots. I mean, the thing is, right here, what I gotta say, that little shock dart was dealing so much damage, just pretty much delivered a few nice gifts here on a silver platter for Drake, and he just got to hit a few body shots, but it doesn't start good. Turco's taking him down, and that is a defense that is now most definitely weakened. The wall's coming up, and that plan could be safe if nobody's interfering with it, and actually, it is Leo getting tagged! Oh my goodness, this is a good shock dart coming in from him. There could be more shots coming out, but nope, Turco is finally ending his watch, but he's the last man standing as well, and that pistol, it might just shift in weight for Guild. It should very much. He's even blind, but no chance. I mean, there is no opportunity worth turning that one around. Spike cannot even be planted, and Guild successfully find the first here over on the defense of Breeze. Turco wants to make it a little bit expensive, but can't do it. And it looked for a second like Leo was going to get a bit overwhelmed on the A site, playing from the back of, I guess Madonna is what Pansy likes to call it, so I guess we'll stick with that. Sure thing. The shock dart lands. I'm really excited to see Leo, Safe, and Yassine. I know you mentioned a lot about Holy Trinities. That, for me, is it. Yassine on the Jet, Safe on the Sky, Leo on the Silver. These are the most demanding agents, I think, when it comes to utility strategies and mechanics, and it's a young lineup. I think the big thing for me overall is Draken was such a clutch Viper over on maps like Icebox, like the 1v4 against Gambit in Stage 3. For example, yeah. He's on a different agent on this map, on the Cypher, but we saw Mixwell clutching out a lot and playing the late round. I think that's his win condition overall, and right now they want to make sure this is as expensive as possible for SMB, and so far they've only lost Bonker. Yep, that's one casualty, but other than that, nothing too much happening. I mean, they get the spike down, it's kind of beneficial, but other than that, power of 8 HP, that's a riddle you can't solve. You know what? I agreed to call this the Swedish Trinity. I'm fine with that. The Swedish Trinity. That is okay for me. I'm all right with that. Thank you very much. But, you know, the thing is, the matter of fact that there are so many players right now in the Guild lineup that haven't even played those agents they play right here in double-digit numbers. Like Leo has played Sova 7 times, for example, right? Those are crazy numbers. And that swap in agents, it can be confusing, but it can also be very successful. And so far, it looks good, but now they mean business. I think this is the first time in a while that I've looked at Guild's composition and gone, I like this player on this agent a lot. And it's similar to Team Liquid, who we'll see a little later on today, where it's very difficult to find the roles for these teams. I was speaking to Bonker a little bit, and much like was said on the desk, sort of relaxing a little bit on some of the zany stuff they like to try and do, and if they can play as convincingly as they have been the first two rounds that we've seen, I think they could be onto something. They could be very much, but for now, Izzy was very keen with his teammates to take a bit of mid-control, could prod a little bit the defense of Guild to get upwards, but that ain't happening for now. There is no big map control for Guild, and you see it, for example, with Drake, and look at his positioning. Yeah, he's playing it. Oh. Very slowly, and he can afford to do that as the Cypher. There's no important utility that needs to be on play. That's why I think we're seeing Bonker play a little bit more passive, trying to get onto a nice angle. Izzy's scaled up quite a lot of space, but there's so many little crossfires with these weaker guns, they could catch them out. But breaking down Yassine, it's how the rest of this team supports him. Leo could have a nice peek, but Izzy sees it beforehand. The Guardian wins out. With a guy like Leo, it is most definitely something that's highly valuable, but he's known now SMB have put down their wall, and it might just isolate the young Swede. That ain't happening for now. Russ
Just looking to find anyone more backside, and Bonkar, he might not just be 100% aware, but it is Ruz who finally finds safe. Same goes for Bonkar, and this leaves it only down to Draken, but they might just not even have him on the radar. He destroyed the tripwire back there in spawn, that for sure happened, but other than that, it could be a really beneficial timing for him. Can get one, that's a good start, but 55 points of health, as well as the situation of only having a Spectre that's far away from perfect. Nevertheless, never count out Draken. He's pretty much focused for that one. Left and right players stand tack now, and they definitely know the positions. It should be an easy one for SMB, and he considers to retreat.
Saving the Spectre of all things. Tripwire's going to catch him as well. I like the fact that SMB are like, there he is, get him, and just start charging towards. Not too bad overall, I don't think, considering Guild was still holding on to some of the weaker weapons from the gun, but ooh, he's doing a little wraparound.
And not only that, they've tagged that position. So either way, they're going to save a weapon on that direction or expect him to be exactly there. And he's looking for that. Because if I'm not totally wrong, there's a Vandal in the entrance of B main. So that's a good upgrade for him then. Yeah,
I think any of the options that he can take are decent ones.
There you go.
I mean, yeah, he's going to be able to sneak out. Good timing. Like, I think that's why you want Draken. Personally, for me, I know Draken has been very vocal about wanting to play Duelists and Jet from his tenure in CS. It makes a lot of sense, especially when the operator is considered. But how he plays out the late round, that experience in tack shooters as well, Draken can be that. He could be our Hiko, maybe, if he sort of gets into there. But it's one of those areas where it's playing to the strengths.
Yeah.
Bonkar, I think he can afford to not be fragging out like crazy because he's a lone island on that B site. So on the defense, he's not going to get a lot of kills. I think we saw it yesterday as well with G2 and Anubis.
I mean, it would be nice to have him as our Hiko. At the same time, I hope he doesn't choke against Fallen in 2 best of 3s, or in 2 maps in a major final.
Imagine if Fallen moved over.
Well, you see, Scream is pretty much being an advocate for this game, so you never know who's coming next. Another one.
Yeah, Scream's just getting like an affiliate link of everybody that's moving over. Yeah, I'll get my brother involved. I'm really excited for that. But also, I'm really enjoying watching Guild so far. I was a little bit nervous. Supermassive Blaze, I know that they'd be maybe not nervous, but a bit wonky. And if your team could keep this operator in hand, could get the kill, get out, and dash, and it breaks Supermassive Blaze down to a 4 versus 5. This is a full buy, an important round for Supermassive Blaze to get on the board. They looked really good when they sort of put that everlasting pressure over on B. And let's see what Bonkar could do now. He's util set up and he has a snake bite.
Not only that, Safe is coming over, and so all the information might be just gained, but poor Bonkar is definitely in a bit of a misery. He gets one, that spike is down, and this is buying a good bit of time. He's just playing around the pillar, is still there, but they can't really get him out of there for the moment, and so Bonkar waits. Patience is his friend, and the players are already coming over. In the same time, Draken has a very good positioning. Turco's out, 2 more remain, and that should be done and dusted. There's no chance.
That's the second time that we've seen the spike being killed in transit. That's like a big thing overall for me. So now Supermassive Blaze are going to sort of run out of time. The 2 players holding on to those guns. And Guild, with the full buy, with the operator, don't lose anybody. That's really good for the economy overall. And I think that's good for Bonkar's confidence as well. Just making sure that a team like SMB can't just run onto the site and you just go solely on your own. No, you're not coming in. You need CID first. Yeah. SMB, they don't really have a response to that.
That's not our dress code for tonight. That's pretty much sure. But the funny thing is, as well, it's Draken who once more is capable of getting such a lurk done. This is not the first time. It's the second if I'm not totally wrong. And at one point, will they A, get paranoid, or B, punish him for that? That's the thing for SMB. They got to be careful about their flanks.
Yeah, technical pause. We can sort of have a little look at what's been going on so far. I feel like for both of these teams, if we're looking at the tournament as a whole, G2's the favorite. I think everybody and their mums can agree on that G2 are the favorites in this tournament. Team Liquid are always worth a shout, despite not qualifying for Berlin. It's not a bad result to go out against Gambit in that kind of fashion, considering Gambit won everything and are the best team in the world currently. Best team in Europe. Just to annoy all of the NA fans, like, we're taking credit for Gambit. I hope you know that.
You should. I mean, the thing is, when I had the opportunity to recently talk to Redgar, and he said, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Guild win that tournament. And if Redgar says that, I definitely believe the words he's putting out there, so.
I love Redgar, but he's often off his rocker, to say the very least. Like, the Redgar Rainer on Haven, he is one of my favorite people, though, in the scene. And I'm going to keep saying that until he gives me a Gambit jersey.
I mean, understandable. Jacket or jersey?
I really like the jackets. The best thing about it is he starts every message to me with "Hello, comrade."
Same.
So, it doesn't feel as good now that everybody.
He only does it to you. He says hello just for me.
Right, so for this one, Yassine is going to be sort of playing in with the operator, a wider hold. He's got some of that utility from Draken to hold on to. And considering this is looking like a fast hit towards that A site, that Aldra needs to be destroyed, or Yassine needs to get tagged and then get out of there.
Well,
or just get to kill.
Sure, and not even getting tagged. So, but that's definitely a win situation for him. The players are considering if they actually make the push. But if you take a look there, Pora, for a second it looked like the lure could work. But safe, he got the antidote for that. It seems like nothing is working on the side of SMB at all for the moment. And as they're trying to go deeper and deeper into the A side, well, there are no real options. Yassine holds the angle, is blind for the second, now is known, has to hide behind the pyramids. But he's being backed off. The question is, once that Viper wall goes down, what's the option for SMB? Here comes the healing. Circle could have been spotted. Russ, 1 millimeter too much. Straightens out, and he whiffs. That makes it only 50 more seconds. Flash is coming in, and that's good. Turkov finds Yassine. Another one backside would be Leo. But the options, they are right now limited as though safe comes in. The triple is there, and now, with 20 HP, you get the quad. Goodness gracious.
You're going to be able to pick up the op as well for Leo. Like, I think Yassine did a really good job of just holding that presence. He dashed out after the first kill, and he showed himself again to Supermassive Blaze. It's just I'm still on the site. You've used your Aldrun. You got to clear me some other way. So we saw Supermassive Blaze throwing out loads of utilities. Shock darts, the recon darts to clear out the back. Yassine did get killed in the end, but he bought a lot of time. And safe. One of the rising stars of the scene, had a really good sort of tenure with Nip, despite Nip not doing that well in the time. Comes back to Guild after playing with Bonk initially. And it's nice to see him on the kind of perfect agent for him, I think, Sky. It's that utility, it's that mindset, and it's the mechanics to get those kills.
Now it's purely about mechanics, as we're talking a few Sheriffs coming in, as well as a Spectre and Brave. What does Bonker after saying is, hold on! Izzy and Russ find easy kills, as Safe was directly shooting in the right direction, but it didn't connect according to plan. Yassine is trying to do what he can do with the shorty. It's pretty much delivered to him. That's pretty much, well, prime one if you could call it like that, but in the meantime, there's still a man advantage on for them. Turco tries and finds him at least. Now the shots need to be on point, that is for sure. They are aware where he stands, and the wall is not going to make it any easier. It seems to be getting a little dramatic, and as Draken finds Brave, that's good. That's working right.
Everything about this is just playing off of Yassine. Like, he's in a position where he's playing with a shorty, but now it's getting awkward. Draken needs to clutch out again if he can try and pull something. The theatrics that we've seen before. Spikers have been planted, so he can just stall for time.
He can, and that situation got massively exacerbated. It's even tagged as well, and now he needs to work off of that. 71 HP as the wall then comes in. In what a fashion the SMB trains arrive over there on B. I'm not going to make any Autobahn reference for sure this time around, but nevertheless, it was an excellent one. They were going so swift with the equipment they had, and Bonka, he can't hold them all up. It's just impossible.
I mean, one of the biggest weaknesses from Guild in the past is certainly on defense, playing up against teams that sort of up the ante. I think Giants in that series, like on maps like Split, there's an aggressive enough team that can get under the timings for Guild, overrun them. Bonka certainly got more than he bargained for in that fight. And Guild might start to lose a bit of that momentum. But an important round for Supermassive Blaze to pick up. Nice utility from Pora with the camera to get the tag. Now we're seeing Safe still playing in a position before, but he needs to be ready and available for the team that needs it. The way that Guild are playing off each other is great.
That's true. And it's going to be interesting. At one point, will, for example, Drake can dare to do those kind of flanks again. He's trying to move already into Cave, as you see on the minimap. And he might be just the linchpin that brings them down. But for now, SMB are a bit slower than previous. Waited out, and nobody of Guild is even showing themselves.
Yeah, and Yassine is taking that mid double doors area very carefully. Like, this is nice positioning for Draken, but I like the fact that he's not gone overboard, and good timing as well, because while Supermassive Blaze were defaulting more towards B with that mid play, you see Pora all the way up on his own. It seems it's going to be an A hit. Draken's about to run. He sees the scope, so he's expected it, but he still can't get one.
And the thing is, you saw it on the minimap, they have tagged. They've left a little tap over there, and they knew that somebody must be in Cave. That's good timing. Perfect scenario. And those Seekers work wonders, but the opponents got the same. Now it is the ult being used. It's Leo who could get a little bit out of that, but again, you see his flash, they even tagged it as a disaster for him, but he's alive. And that's the only that matters with an operator, because one shot, one kill. Bonker's coming coming in as well. He's having a really good game right now, and this comes more and more. Bonker with the double. It could be the triple he gets, and it is the triple of Bonker. This is a man you usually don't see perform that well, but this is working brilliantly for this guy.
Yeah, he just dusted it off overall. Even though Draken dies in the early part of the round overall, he still gets that information, and Guild reacted off that perfectly. Yassine was so patient on the site. He again just did what he's been doing across this map, is just staying in this position, being really irritated to move, and Bonker just playing off of it. Like, I like the fact that Yassine's sort of pulled in a bit of that aggression that we typically see. It's the most noticeable thing about this Guild team, other than the comp changes. And Supermassive Blaze, well, they made a thrifty work before. They have a bit of a better buy here, and 4 ultimates too.
And one thing that's worth mentioning, SMB is right now on the side that we have hardly seen from them against Paper X, for example. They're really good on defense. They didn't need to show as much on attack. But Draken's lurks are fun. Izzy, though, knows what to do once the scene gets a little dramatic for him. Takes out Yassine with ease, but again, knock knock, it is Draken.
Really interested to see what Safe tries to do. Actually, the Viper's Pit's going to be extended. I like that. And Safe is just hanging around to see if anything finds an opening, but Draken does get caught out on this lurk. So now it's a bit more awkward. 3 players having to hold one of the biggest maps in Valorant. And the fact that Bonkers used this ultimate means he has to stick around on B. The spike is still over in that direction. That's what Russ is holding on to. Now he's going to start to slip away. I thought maybe there was going to be some presence towards A and then just bull rushing Bonker again over on that B site. But he's had a great game so far, so I think SMB reconsidering. And now that Yassine is out as well with the operator, that A site might be a little more open, and they still have an owl drone, does Russ?
That's the crucial part. You could clear out so much with that, specifically in combination with the recon dart. The Bonker sticks to the B side, as you mentioned. Means Safe and Leo can focus on that, but they are a troublesome duo. They can cause a lot of damage, and it seems like they finally tried to get over on the A side. 15 more seconds is not a lot. One big interruption, and the problems come in. Safe though only with 1. Leo has a good opportunity. He's gonna deny it. Yes, he is denying it. They know where the plant is gonna happen, but unfortunately, there's not another shock dart coming in. Bonkar's out. This is the chance for Leo to do it. It could be his clutch. 52 points of health that is left onto Turco, 100 on Russ, but it's still an operator, and so he lurks around the water near the pyramid. Saw the first, but he can't bait out Russ according to his plan. That's the third, a costly one for SMB, but successful. That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, triple for Russ. The operator on attack actually finding huge success in that round in the end. Is he just reminding Yassine that maybe he can't clear all of that space up? And I like the idea for Safe. In some other instances, some other universes, he gets a couple more, and what is that, the 7th kill that Leo's got with the shock dart? It makes me kind of sad that we haven't seen these guys play these agents before. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Safe is great and whatever he plays, and Leo is one of the best sort of controllers in EMEA. But I also think that Leo, if you put him on any of the supportive agents, he's going to do a terrific job. SMB calling the timeout, kind of interesting considering they did win the last round, but maybe there's something they've spotted about Guild that they want to try and break.
That's the Gambit effect, maybe. You know, where they sometimes just pause even if they have the momentum going for themselves. The
timeout. Man, the timeout after a pistol and then a timeout the round after that. I mean, it works.
Yeah.
It's super weird, but it works.
It's maybe this weirdness effect, like, why would they do that? But, you know, the specific thing you mentioned, Safe is, for me, an individual that has been one of the best developments within this game. You know, he came in, was this permanent sentinel in form of Cypher, tried himself out a new agent, and he's really been developing. I mean, he has been in the Barbar school for, like, what, 5 years, has played in so many teams and a long time with him, also in other games. And it seems like it really works wonders for him. He's an integral part of Guild, but now the integral part of the defense needs to be reworked and revitalized, because otherwise we might see problems.
I think a win over this series against SMB is going to instill a lot of confidence for Guild. It's not over yet. I'm really interested to see what Supermassive is trying to do a little bit differently. Trailblazer is going to put some pressure onto Yassine, who doesn't have the op. He can't afford it this time. And a lot of mid-control for Supermassive Blaze, and another op kill onto Safe.
Don't really want to see that, but they keep on staying to mid. So they don't take too much of a risk. They just wait it out patiently. Para is waiting close to the shoot, but other than that, it's just pure focus once more on mid. But Draken, the 7,000th time he has already moved through the position of Cave. Now, obviously, the tripwire is a little annoying, but He's gonna, now this is kind of the paranoia starting, and he even gets the kill.
Wow.
Perfect stuff.
That's the up dropped. It can be picked up, but who realistically wants to try and up and attack in this situation? Pora's gone, guys, I've got a bit of space. There's a tripwire stopping me, and Leo wasn't actually expecting that space to be made up. You're playing against Pora. This is what he does. Now it's the Hunter's Fury that's interesting. Russ is actually going to use it aggressively to try and get Bonker out of these little nooks and crannies that he can hide from. The neural theft is going to make it awkward, but he's still sticking. If he can get one, this is amazing.
Unfortunately not close, but the smoke was just going down the moment he was starting to shoot. You see, he knows where Pora is. Got to get that kill ASAP, but there's someone coming in from tunnel. There's no frag granted. A brilliant duel he took in combination with Russ.
Yeah, just the peaks, the timings. There's a couple of times we've seen that now of like Turco taking the attention for players and somebody like Pora being able to peek off. A successful round for Supermassive Blaze after a tactical timeout. And despite Guild starting off this defense pretty well, which they should be, I think, in some cases, we've seen Supermassive Blaze claw it back a little bit. I can't imagine the money's good for Guild. No, it's just going to be an eco overall. So Supermassive Blaze might be able to tie us up.
Pretty much. I mean, it should be. And this is where Guild got to be worried about the fact that if Draken can get so much control and lurk, why shouldn't Pora do so? Why shouldn't Pora be able to get the same kind of weird spots, angles, and positions that you wouldn't usually expect?
We saw a Thrifty before from Supermassive Blaze. You kind of expect that from the mechanical skill that these players have. Guild, maybe. Everybody seems to be on one today. The Marshall could find stuff from Leo. He's trying to get into a nice position. The first Sheriff kill comes in from Drac and traded out, but you've seen where the Classic has found some space as well.
The good old right-click magic. Do it, Yassine. Come on, do it for us. Oh, no, he doesn't hit that one, but down to 20. I mean, that's a good preparation, to put it that way. Tasmanian Tiger coming in, and that's at least clearing out elbow. Russ knows about the tunnel player, tags him. Doesn't necessarily have a benefit from that, but they know about too. And that's a good bit of info. Leo cannot escape under no circumstance, as he's now even being tagged. That's an interesting usage of that he's done. He's absolutely not living for... Hold on. What?
He manages to sneak out, snake his way in. He's going to be playing on A, so he's going to hit his utility, and with that toxic screen being placed down, it's pretty obvious what the game plan is for Supermassive Blaze. The eco, you've already made it expensive. You could still maybe potentially retake this round, but from the small sample size we've seen from Guild, the retakes haven't been convincing when they played against Descent, but that was 3 months ago.
Particularly the A side never worked for them, but it could be a good... No, Leo is moving away. Just the wrong moment to go away from Robes. Safe, though, finds Brave. That's a good start. 20 points of health are not making it easier. But as you mentioned, it already got expensive. Bonker could even make this a bit more expensive, as using the snake bite somewhere on the side, trying to figure out if he can actually go for the defuse, but no chance. Nevertheless, 3 out of 5 are out. And that is now, well, pretty much putting those wallets into a quiet, slim state for SMB.
It's always kind of tricky when you're in a clutch situation to use utility. I think a lot of teams and a lot of players and a lot of coaches would say to just keep it in your pocket, just keep your gun out, because peaks like that can happen. Supermassive Blaze, again, showing the face of one player on an angle, hiding away, and then somebody else. It's not quite like double peeking, but it's almost like a bait peek. Seems to be working out really well for Supermassive Blaze so far. And Guild, despite being 5-2 up in the end, they could lose this half 7-5, which would be a disaster. You've seen back with the operator, very successful with it for the most part, but now he's running into Izzy again. They both miss each other, and the shorty could be the difference. He's going into the smoke. He's trying to make that presence known, and he's seeing Izzy.
No!
He's just too far away.
I mean, both initially whiff. This is where we start, and suddenly it becomes this awkward duel, a no-scope versus a shorty. This is not just a bad Valorant joke, that just happened. But it's 1 minute 10 left on the clock for the side of SMB to make something from the mid-control they have. Izzy getting a shot through the head of Draken, but not for the actual head. And so, what is your plan, dear SMB?
I think they can afford to take it a little bit slower. Still have Izzy finding all of that space, and another Seeker's being used, this time from safe. Almost feels like Turco has one every round, considering how explosive he's been with it for the most part. But the Seekers is going to not give precise information. Now the Blade Storm's going to be activated, so a lot of ultimates being used on this round. It's a must-win, I feel, for both sides in the end. And Guild are playing off of this very passively, because holding on A has been relatively decent.
Oh, that could be a good shock dart. Oh, that lands perfectly. The second one as well. That gets Brave killed. Leo is on point with his Sova right now, considering that he only played it 7 times in the past. That's an absolute blast he's having with that agent. But Safe has not been spotted. Otherwise, we would have 100% seen that wallbang coming. And Draken does what Draken does best. The lure comes in, and Bonkar closes the case and makes it a 6th. This is the side where Guild look quiet okay at against Ascent. Not good, but okay. So now having a good advantage of a 7-5, that would be brilliant for them.
It might not be enough. I guess we'll get onto it with Guild's attacking side, but out of they've only played once, and they've only won 1 attacking round.
Yes, they did.
I don't think this is one of those moments where Yassine oversteps it. I don't think it's like Yassine from March that we're seeing there. I like the idea. It just didn't work out that well in the end. But Izzy's attacking up has been a real problem, and I don't think we're going to see Yassine being able to do those kind of things when he's attacking as well. So Izzy is warming up to the survey. He's got a point to prove. He wants to show he's better than Yassine a little bit. Another B hit coming in, and there's 3 players there, including Yassine with the op.
Safe gets a good bit of information for sure. Turquoise is clearing it over tunnel. He's preparing the attack for Izzy, but is he going to be expected is the question. Saw a barrel on the left-hand side. I'm more than convinced that that actually happened. Now he's feeling a lot of pressure, but Draken is taking a shot from behind. Now the problems arise for him, but this is going to be a quick one through the double doors, and I think he's going to realize that very soon. Safe is getting 3 frags, or at least 1. He's still building the pressure quite big.
Again?
No, Leo, how many more shock dart frags is this guy supposed to get?
I'm just going to quote like a British meme of just another one, just constant shock dart kills. And it's a lineup on one of the most difficult maps to hit those shots on, to be honest. It's so big, it's so vast to consistently get shock dart kills is unreal. I don't think Supermassive players are quite out of it just yet. It's going to be problematic. Never mind, Brave in a 1 versus 5 gets shut down quickly from Safe. And a decent round for Guild, but I think this is where the wheels could come off a little bit on their attack.
It's true. That's a very valid point. I mean, that one round that you described against Ascent, that was a 4 spy from Guild where Safe had to clutch it out 1 versus 2 with a Guardian, to be very precise. So that tells you how scrappy the situation was back during that game that happened a long while ago.
I really like that Safe takes those kind of angles. He doesn't overpeak. He gets a kill, jiggles it a little bit to take the attention away, and then just flashes. And in that moment, because he's taking that attention overall, he allows Leo to get that shock dart kill. So there's some really good stuff overall that I think the Guild can take away from this. Problem is, can quickly unravel. Brave is going to have a similar setup, not quite the toxic screen across, and kind of is out in the open that Yassine wants to punish.
Oh goodness, Yassine was not hitting it at all, and the right click from Bonker is not coming in as well. It seems like that should be already a pistol round, ending catastrophically for the side of Guild. That was swift, and Yassine was not even getting on top of the cobble pillar there. That's unfortunate. It all looked like they were just stepping on their own shoelaces a bit, trying to run onto the side, but just falling down.
Yeah, Brave got away with murder here overall.
Oh, I mean,
nice angle, the recon dart as well. Bonkers just right-clicking. Bit of a roll of the dice overall. The Poro plays off of that nicely. He's just on that middle pillar. We'll see what Guild can do to respond. Probably not this round, as the money's going to be saved up for now, but they really want to be taking some of those Spectres out of the hands for Supermassive Blaze, force them to buy up going into round 15. And Izzy with the Marshal, you never really know what can happen. Turco doesn't want to be caught overstepping, yet let the utility do the talking, exactly.
The question is if they can bait the second flush out of him. That would be beneficial for one of the pushes they might do, but now there comes the little dog, or the Tasmanian Tiger's getting good bit of information again. I mean, Leo is really getting a reputation for some damn good shock darts. But with that round, I mean, there shouldn't be too many options for Guild. They're still looking for the room they can obtain.
There's some nice pressure. I mean, you've seen with the movement so far on the attack has been shaky, to say the very least. And he's a player that I think when he has confidence, he thrives. When he doesn't, it shows. At least he's keeping a lot of players from Supermassive Blaze glued to this A-hole position. It's allowing Guild to move away. But our recon dart not getting anything. How is Supermassive Blaze going to move across the map? They think it's a B hit. They think it's a fake. And Yassine still has control of this space that maybe Guild can use to get through to the A site.
30
Yeah,
seconds
but
left.
the thing is, they're right now rotating back. Yassine is hearing some players rotate, definitely back from spawn, so he's trying to work with that. But SMB, they were not born yesterday. They know something like that can happen, and this is where Yassine falls. Easy frags for Izzy, one after another, and it just might be the shooting gallery. Yes, there comes another. The second is granted, the third is just on its way, or is it? Yes, most definitely it is. Turco takes the fourth, but still, good frags, nice to watch, but now it's time for Guild to come into this game with the real weapons, the big caliber being pulled out.
We need to see those Guild executes. Obviously, we haven't really seen it on this map because we've just not seen much of it at all. But I think when you look at maps like Icebox, which we'll see a little later, Ascent, Split, the utility that comes out of Guild is often phenomenal, if not a bit obvious. I like the mid-round play. It was very difficult for Supermassive Blaze to get a read, but even then, as soon as Guild started to, you know, the first guiding light goes out, SMB are like, all right, we're prepared, and they just mow everybody down as Guild come in onto the site.
It seemed like they were also overthinking it a little bit, because Yassine was, as you mentioned, taking a lot of attention from them. Now this is a good start from Drake, and Izzy is out, and this is going to be a fast one over on the A side. It should be a free frag indeed. Finally it is. Gruz has an answer with the Marshal in hand, and Brave as well, just pushing through his little wall. And this brings them a good opportunity. It's still a free versus free, a bonus round for SMB, most importantly.
You want to take those guns out of the hands if you can. Brave has just been so problematic. He's still playing on the site. Some of those snakebite lineups have been a bit amiss, but he's still making presence. He's still getting kills.
Oh, no.
And you're seeing he wants to try and catch people by surprise, but he runs into Pora.
Yeah, and this would be not working for Draken at all. It doesn't. It's a bonus that starts with a fully fast attack over on the A side. Metal to the pedal to the metal, going down over there from Cave, instantly onto the side with a good entry they have obtained. But suddenly, there was a little surprise moment. SMB stepping through their own wall a little bit, making them shake their heads and ask themselves, why are they doing this stuff that seems so risky? Well, it works, most obviously.
I think as much as we've been fawning over Leo's 12 kills, 11 of which were probably with shock darts, I don't know the exact stat, it's interesting to see that Russ has been the top performer in the server so far, because it is expectations. I think one thing that I noticed about SMB from Stage 3 playoffs to Masters,
yes,
everybody's ACS went down because it was a kind of poor performance from them. Russ's went up. He was the only player that had a better performance at Masters on average with stats. And Izzy, he'd fall a bit. He's going to try and take those fights. He takes a lot of damage. Utility is going to catch out Turco, but can we see Supermassive Blaze being able to actually capitalize off that? From the sounds of it, no. Turco even gets the kill still.
And that was mandatory to get that, but at the same time, seems like the simulation is broken for a second, but now we're back in it, and so should be an easy one. I mean, most definitely it should be an easy one right here coming in from SFB. The amount of damage that has been dealt is quite good, but well, with the spike now being dropped into the mud, the chances are most definitely limited. And over on the map, I mean, Draken has pretty much taken a field trip, you know, just walking around over their elbows, seeing how it looks over there, but he's not getting too much from that, does he?
Here's a worthy reminder, this is Supermassive Blaze's pick. They had a pretty good run, a pretty good result against Paper X in Masters, 13-2. Can't really become more dominant than that when it comes to a result, really. Especially on a map that you used to ban out. The Russ keeping it clean. I mean, what do you think? Like, if Supermassive Blaze went every single round now to make it 13-7, I mean, it's a terrible attack from Guild, obviously.
Yes.
I don't think it's a bad result. I like what I'm seeing from Guild, so long as what we're seeing when it comes to the agent compositions and the mentality and the personality that these guys want to play with, if they can move that across all three of the maps in the series, I think there's a chance that they can pull it back.
Yeah, they seem to be on the right track back there. The first time they played Breeze versus Ascent. Now, again, their defense was wonderful from Guild, but something is just not right with their attack. Regarding all maps, I think we see a better Guild overall, and those surprises that have been promised by Safe, well, they keep us not speechless yet, but that could happen soon.
To put it all on your scene, but last time they played Ascent, yeah, he was -10 on differential. I mean, Dragon's caught sleeping there a little bit. I mean, again, you're playing up against Pora. He could be around any corner at any time, it feels. He is one of the most cerebral players we've seen, and Yassine also takes a beating. He wants to try and be that opening, but now they've lost a player. It's all over the place. A lot of space on A, though. A lot of real estate.
I just wanted to say, I mean, that's free real estate.
There is a camera there, and I think Supermassive Blaze can afford to play off of it passively. They don't have a Seekers. obviously don't have a lockdown because they're not playing Killjoy. Neural Theft might be able to get all of the information. Guild. This is good because it forces movement from Supermassive Blaze, but it's the execution, it's the follow-up that's lacking.
That's the thing, right? And it's kind of interesting to see. They don't know about a second player deep there in mid, and they specifically didn't see any player having a spike around. Leo sees the head of Izzy. It's a dangerous duel, but he's not taking it for now. He keeps it safe. You've seen those falls, and now they know about everyone. This is a bit of a problem as Russ is coming in as well. The tunnel is a narrow spot to use that Hunter's Fury, and so with 15 seconds left on the clock, nope, there's nothing happening.
Spike down mid. Last player standing.
It's so unfortunate because it reminds me of that Pistol Force where it looked like if they would just now go fast onto that one side, there would be just only one player standing there. That didn't happen again, and that's a little unfortunate in my eyes for now. Izzy's taking out Leo. The 10-7 is granted. The double digits for Supermassive Blaze is exactly what they expected, and so Guild, they gotta swap something up, really. It's a little unfortunate seeing them having good starts and a proper job, but at the same time, I'm missing something here.
Timeout called for Guild. Leo, if he got that kill very early on in the round towards A, things could have been very different, and the position of the Guild would have, you know, you could have gone A, obviously, but you could also put that pressure into B. The idea's there, and you can't really put it down to one thing in particular. Like, the executes are really tough for Guild, but they've lost pre-plant, they've lost to time, like they did there. They've lost one retake, but getting the plant down seems the biggest issue overall. And especially when the round where you do get the plant down is where you full buy, and it's still a half buy for Supermassive Blaze. It's a bonus round. It's not particularly instilling me with confidence, to say the very least. I mean, literally, I think for the whole of the year for Guild, there's been two sides to them. We saw the good side on their defense. On their attack, that's the other side of Guild that we've seen across the year.
That's kind of true.
Jekyll and Hyde.
I would fully agree on that, but I mean, with Guild, it is the thing that they have this kind of defaulty slow moment, and then they suddenly just wait out a little more, and then they go for the attack, and then they have this snowball, which is going from one side. Oh, it didn't work. We go back and go to the other side. It's wonderful at times, but sometimes you're just asking yourself, is that the way you want to see Guild perform? They're picking the orb on Yassine. He already got his daggers ready. Down to 26 points of health, though. It's not making it any better. Draken loses the initial duel, but we're talking about a very weak buy nevertheless.
Just as this attacking half has gone on, we saw Guild, you know, losing rounds with eco buys, but making it costly. Now, you know, Supermassive Blaze don't look too phased by it. This time there is some utility to use to clear, but there's so much to go over. It's not only Aura's utility, but three other players watching every single angle. The fact that we're seeing Turco with so much control as well towards A means that there's no bait and switch.
And I know about Russ, but Safe is team flashing himself, and not only that, I'm not quite sure if he wanted to get Russ blinded or not, but that didn't work at all. Turco is already deep into cave and got a lot of territory for himself. He might be just the one to hold Bonkart and Co up for more. Bonkart, not hitting his initial shot, knows about Cave, but they can rule out the position. They are aware that it's mid. He's seen his whiff in his shots, but Save is at least getting the bullet in the head of Russ. This means there's a man advantage in favor of Guild. Now the shots need to be on. Yassine is not hitting it according to plan. Is he wasting so much time? Because there's still a player back in Cave. It could be real good, even if he falls. There's Turco, and his flank might be successful. Flash down, spikes down nevertheless. He's not going to interrupt that process, and it's coming in. It's coming work, but it's still the problem here for the side of Safe and Leo. There is an ult that Leo might use, but he's not really in the position to do that in peace. And so there's coming a little Tiger, 20 health back left there on Pora, and Leo takes out Turco. This is crucial. This is just a single body shot to put Guild back in the game, and finally there's the clearance for the Sweets.
The Thrifty is a successful one. Leo, the Guardian Angel really for Guild in the end, wasn't it really? Because they managed to pull it back on a round where they didn't have much to go over. Just having that utility handy, the attack just being able to sort of push and pull has been really solid. And I mean, now it's if they can capitalize off that, if they can make it 2 rounds in a row, suddenly they're back in it. Like, despite having the lead and Supermassive Blaze feeling of being completely in control on their defense, Guild aren't too far behind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, The only thing
Problem is money. Look how
I just
much
wanted to
money
say
SMB
that.
has.
Seems like they flipped an NFT or something, but
Oh my god.
nevertheless, they got money for 2 more rounds, for 2 more buys probably,
Yeah.
and that is the problem, right? Because Guild, if they would just stop them right now, then the momentum would have been broken, but when they reach tie, SMB still has a buy.
I mean,
that's critical.
Nothing says we have money more than double operator.
Yes.
That's the handy thing about signing Izzy and Russ, 2 Jet players to up on the same roster, is they could both kind of do that most part. Russ is going to be a bit more for intel. It is going to be a bit masked by the poison cloud thrown out by Bonker. Doesn't really matter in the end, though. Not only does Bonker go down, but means that there's a bit more vision for Russ to be annoying. Information constantly gathered from Guild, and despite trying to scale up mid, which is what they've been trying to do every single attacking round, feels like yet again run into a bit of a road bump.
Hopefully, Lofar didn't see that smoke from Bonkard back there top mid, because otherwise he's making it surely a segment 15 minutes on his stream. Though he's right. I mean, this is the edge that, unfortunately, is giving pretty much a one-way to Russ. And as you mentioned, double operator. This is so crucial right now for the defense, as they can split up that massive firepower. Izzy whiffs, goes back, door opens, problem starts to rise back on the side.
Oh, that's nice.
And as he's smoking himself in, Pora gets Yassine. It's just getting more and more problematic as though Draken is coming in with the flank. Turco seems to be a paranoid what's happening, but it's 10 seconds and Leo falls as well. Draken has no chance. That round's over. And we were talking about the run that Guild could have made, but it's immediately being stopped, and they have to slam the brakes. Unfortunate for them, 11th granted, and SMB only 2 rounds away from success.
Yeah, Guild struggling a little bit there. It had ultimates as well to work with. I think it says a lot that Pora started off the round anchoring towards B, much like he has been. And then towards the end, as the execute was coming in, he's anchoring on A and still kills multiple people. If it doesn't show maybe how telegraphed or obvious some of the plays that Guild have been making are, is that Pora is, I'm going to go to the other place because that's where the action is, ahead of time. I think even before Guild know.
Draken is taking his time to get that little dart out of his chest. I mean, the walls of SMB are interesting. The Viper wall is most likely something I like to see.
I think Draken's struggled a lot when it comes to, he's not been the same as Pora when it comes to sort of taking that space. His position's always been grabbed, but he still gets the first kill onto Russ. So Hunter's Fury does come out from Leo to just maybe cause a bit more chaos in the end. Is he now with a Bladestorm in hands, wants to see if he can find an opening, but Guild are taking this very carefully. They need to try and capitalize off this a little bit. Their buy is really awkward now, because safe as the operator, they didn't buy up much, but they picked up a couple of guns they can muster up and save. SMB 3 players still got a good control of the top of the map.
It's not the first time Guild is swinging in one direction, waits 30 to 40 seconds, and then makes a move on over on the other side. The thing, though, is with this 2-man advantage that right now is granted for Guild, if they get that spike down, Bonkar will most likely get his Viper's Pit out there. And when that happens, the retake should be pretty much impossible, to put it that way.
Yeah, and is he trying to play in that position that Yassine was, but Draken operator is successful, but yet again, every single time the Guild try and get onto the site, they're mowed down in the process.
That can't be happening.
There's no follow through, and now Draken in a 1 versus 1, he doesn't have the spike. He does have enough time to just put some pressure onto Brave. The snake bite just misses. Oh, this could be really awkward.
That's a rough one, because he probably thought that must be on, but it's 32 points of health. A dream and an operator on the hands of Draken that could make it all possible for Guild to still take the sunny breeze. But there is a very experienced Brave on the other side. 15 points of health, a pistol bullet would do the job as well. But he's going for it, and he can't make it possible. It seems like Brave pretty much got that one under control. It was a 5 versus 3 for Guild. They were pushing onto the A site. But suddenly, SMB, calm and collected, just shoot them down one after another. And that dream is called overtime.
Yeah, this is not the best of lucks for Guild. I think the biggest problem has just been they started off with those initial kills over towards B, ended up in, I think, a 5 versus 3. There were only 3 players alive for Supermassive Blaze as that execute came in. Nobody was realistically traded for Supermassive Blaze. I feel like Lothar will be able to answer this better than myself when it comes to there must be some utility going on to those A executors missing that allows Supermassive Blaze to just hold the same corners each time, these suicidal 50-50 angles, and not get cleared. It might be panic for Guild when it comes to time. They make it awkward for themselves. But SMB have just had such a good read on everything that's been happening.
Well, talking about a good read, Turco is getting all that space, and obviously he's going to abuse it. And as he's got all of that, he's even taken out Yassine with him. Save on 18, the other one on 100. It's not looking good for Gil at all. And you know, there were disastrous, dire rounds where it looked like there will be that magic clutch, but Draken is throwing Kakuka's best ult into the game. Has a bit of information, but that's it.
Yeah, we've had to rely on the Guardian quite a lot. That's a lot of steps. That's going to be heard very close up from Russ. That's good information to use. And Leo's not with the execute. That Sova utility, sorry, could be very useful, but he finds the flank, but it's all up for him to do. 13-8, Guild, one attacking round again when it comes to their attack, and they drop the ball completely.
It's even kind of unfortunate. This is like a deja vu. I didn't want to see that because Draken and his boys were looking confident and solid and strong during that first half. It looked like they got into this, they got a game plan, they got to know how to approach this. And they swapped sides, and nothing was working anymore. There was like literally zero working except that one round. It was scrappy once more, it got close once more, but SMB, a very well-deserved win at the end.
Yeah, I think a player that we wanted to sort of put some pressure on a little bit was Yassine, because it's the tip of the spear for Guild when it comes to breaking into those sites. He was 9-17, ACS of 133. Like, it's tough to play Jet on this map, but you look at a different game for players like Izzy, who still was the worst on his team when it comes to stats, still had that performance to change some rounds.
That's the unfortunate part right here, right? You would expect such a duelist to do a little bit more on a map like Breeze, but this was just the first of this best of 3. And this obviously means that we are heading to a little break. But obviously you want to have a little bit of a chill time. We got you the featured song, Life Goes On by Oliver Tree, so you can enjoy those cat jams there in the chat, and we'll be right back with you.
I gotta get it, don't mind it. I gotta get it, don't mind it.